Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, Made in Bluebell Wood. I'm Sarah and I'm all about wellness through crafts. I manage my own mental health problems and crafting is literally like a medicine to me, so I want to share that with other people. And this is video number 3 of 3, which were ideas of things to do with your old jars that we either recycle or we throw away. So idea number 3 was to create this, which is, I think it was like a bolognese jar, and it's literally been painted, and as you can see there's some flower detail there. It's really simple to do, even if you don't see yourself as creative and you are one of those people that say, I can't draw, I can only draw a stick man, you know, I can't paint. It doesn't matter, you'll be able to do this. It's really simple. So the first thing we need to do is choose our jar, clean it out, make sure it's had the sniff test. You know I like to do the sniff test. And then you need to get yourself just some regular acrylic paint. These I've got from the works, but you could literally use your children's paint or something like that. Paint from the Poundland, Poundland or anywhere like that. As long as it is acrylic paint, not what they call sort of poster paint. So first thing we have to do is choose the paint. Okay, so before we start painting, I'm going to explain to you like a little list of everything you need. I forgot to say that at the start. I do apologise. I'm still getting used to this whole YouTube thing. So you will need, as I said, your jar. You'll need 3 different colour acrylic paints. One of them is going to be for the centre of your flowers, one of them is going to be for the outside of your flowers, and then you'll need one paint to cover your jar with, okay? And then you're going to need some kind of trim, as I used on this jar. Just move the camera up a bit. And I'm going to be using this ribbon today, which I believe was wrapped around a pair of pyjamas that I got for Christmas. So as I always say, you don't need to go and buy lots of expensive things to make something really beautiful. Just use what you have around. So we've got a jar, we've got paint. You'll obviously need a paintbrush, but even like a child's paintbrush will do. And you'll need something, so you'll need a paintbrush obviously to paint the jar, but then you'll need something to make these little dots with, because we're not actually going to use the brush to do the dots. We are going to use the end of the paintbrush, and you can use the end of a pen, anything you can find, but I'm using the end of a knitting needle, and as you can see I've already used that on my sample jar there. And then you will need a needle and thread just to create your little bow, some thread scissors, and then either a glue gun, as I use, my very well used, well loved glue gun, as you can see, or some kind of super glue. Whatever you prefer, and whatever you have to hand. So I'm literally, and you might find this surprising, that you don't have to use glass paint, you know, specialist expensive glass paint. You can just use the acrylic paint. Now this will go on really nicely and smoothly. and this in itself I find really relaxing. Just keep it as neat as you can. But if it doesn't come out so neat, it doesn't matter, because that's when you bring trims in, you see. To cover all of those little mishaps. So that's one coat, and as you can see, you can still see some of the glass through it, which, if you like that effect, the kind of shabby sort of effect, that's fine. I would recommend actually painting it twice, which is how I got the effect here on my jar. It doesn't take long to dry. So I'm going to wash my brush off. So I'm going to put that jar to one side, and here I have a jar, one I made earlier, as they say. I'm just going to move the camera back a bit, please bear with me. This is one I made earlier, and at this point I would usually then start to paint my little flowers on, but if I do that, then they will still be wet when I show you the trim. So I'm going to do the trim first. So the world is your oyster with trim. You can get so many different kinds, and you'll find on each jar they're all kind of, when you look closely, they're all a little bit individual. Like this one has got kind of these straight edges all around it, and then it sort of curves up here. And so what I did is that I pushed the brush to the curve, and it sort of makes this nice kind of bumpy sort of effect. So for that reason, I'm not going to hide the top of the jar, which I normally would on a plain jar like that. I'm going to actually put the trim a bit further down. So I'm going to work out roughly where I want it, and then I'm going to trim the ribbon, and then very carefully with my glue gun I'm going to stick my ribbon on. Be very careful when you use hot glue. I've had many an injury with thanks to my glue gun. I find it easier, because the glue dries quite quickly, to do it a little bit at a time, and then you're not sort of in a mad rush, and then you're less likely, I think, to have an accident with the glue and to touch it. So press it down as you go and sort of put it taut. Now when you start to come to the edge, think about how you want to deal with that edge. I'm going to just cut that straight and glue that edge down. You can always use the side of your scissors. That's quite a handy little tip, to press something down with hot glue underneath it. So think about how you're going to finish off your jar. So I don't really think I need the ribbon quite that long, so I'm going to cut it again, and then you could either leave it with that sort of edge, or if you want to make it really neat, which is what I want to do, you can just stick a bit of glue under there and then stick it down, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to quickly and carefully fold it over. When I know that it's secure, then I'm going to bring it round and sort of pull it taut. just to really keep it as neat as you can. And then you can just glue that last little bit there. Make sure it's in place. Just really take your time and just do the best job you can. That's all we can ever do, isn't it? And that's what I always tell my daughter. So I've got to live by that, haven't I? Now I've actually just realised that I somehow have got some pen on my ribbon, but don't worry, because excuse me, I can cover that up. So I'm going to roughly work out how big I want my ribbon to be. Obviously now I know it's got to be big enough to cover up that little boo-boo of the pen or paint, whatever it is. Not sure if it's that paint. Okay, I think that'll be big enough. So now I'm going to get my needle. This is the way 9 times out of 10 I make my bows. I find this a really easy way. So just make a little knot at the end, or loop it through and make the knot like I just did. And usually at this point I would just tie the ribbon around tight, but because it's quite thick and quite wide, this ribbon, I'm going to sort of do a couple of running stitches in and out first, so that then I can pull it, and then I can do that nice bit in the middle where you wrap it around. Right, so I just tied up my bow at the back, and then I stuck that on nice and firmly with my glue gun. Now I'm going to show you how to do those really pretty little sweet flowers. So you're going to need to decide on what colour you want for your petals, and I always use yellow with these daisies for the centre. And all I do is dip my knitting needle in the paint, maybe then just sort of tap it once there, and then just do a few blobs wherever you like. I normally like to do things random, and then grab the end of the paintbrush and create the petals around the edge. I've done quite a big centre with these ones, but you could do it the other way around actually, and have sort of a little dot in the middle and then larger petals around the edge. That's entirely up to you. It's really quick and you get this lovely effect. Do you know what, I wasn't sure about that orange, but I'm a fan of sort of mismatchy things, so I'm really enjoying how this is coming out. See, I'm just literally blobbing them around the edge, and they're not perfect, and that's fine. Isn't it great when you can make something that's not perfect and that's how it's supposed to look, and actually that makes it look better? Huh. Right, so that's all you need to do all the way around. Well, as much as you want to, really. You could do that around the whole jar. It's entirely up to you. And that's how I made my jar here. So now you know the secret, don't you? I think this is a great little item to make, and as you can see I'm using it as storage for my Sharpies, and it's just a lovely little thing to have around. It kind of makes me think kind of spring and towards the, you know, the warmer months when the world and all the plants around us start waking up. So I hope you enjoyed my third glass jar tutorial, and I hope that I inspired you to do something crafty. If you like what you see, then please like this video, and if you'd like to see more of my ideas, of which there are absolutely millions and zillions, then please subscribe, and thank you for watching. Bye.